Good morning. It is 10:59 a.m. on Saturday, March 9th, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellison. Been up for a little while, poking around, procrastinating doing this video for reasons that are unknown to anybody. This is 5 more minutes. So, yesterday was a little bit of a weird day. Mike and I did record for talking about Survivor and wrapping up our 2019 Oscar movie marathon. So if you follow my content, check that out if you're interested in either Survivor or movies. But a lot of yesterday was spent in kind of a weird mood because of work stuff that I'm not going to get into too much detail on, just because I don't feel like that's a good idea, and it's also not particularly relevant. The details are not important in this case anyway, but it was really more a matter of occasionally what I'm trying to think how to put this. So I talk sometimes about having, some issues with anxiety, because I think that there's been a general trend in social media lately that it's good to be a little bit more open about those things, because it helps people realize that, hey, other people feel this way too, that sort of thing. And it wasn't even an extreme thing. It was more just a matter of, I've talked earlier this week about making to-do lists and, getting some medium and long-term plans on those to-do lists, and starting to, build a little bit more stuff into like a longer-term plan. And I think somewhat to be expected, my brain had a little bit of a whiplash to that change in behavior, and started feeling a little bit overwhelmed yesterday. And so I actually, to toot my own tiny little toy horn a little bit, I wrote a little song on Twitter yesterday where I was just saying, you can panic just a little bit today. You can panic just a little bit today. You can feel your emotions, but don't make big decisions. You can panic just a little bit today. And yeah, so it's very silly, of course, but I think it is ultimately the appropriate response to when you have those feelings, right? It is a recognition that sometimes you have the little emotional fight or flight circuits that spin up at times that are not helpful. And so it's not that you have to somehow just squash all that down and pretend it doesn't happen, or that it doesn't exist, but you also don't want to act like it's the end of the world and that everything's exploding and you just need to change everything about your life all at once. Of course not. And so that's kind of where I was at yesterday, was just recognizing, oh, okay, some of my little alarms are going off, but when I take a moment to think about, is this actually a problem that I'm having? No. It's really, the only problem is that I've got, some lights flashing and alarms going, and it's like, oh, wait, no, that's not a problem. So I don't have to pretend that the alarms aren't going off, but I can also think about what is a reasonable response, like what is the actual useful thing to do. And the answer to that is, I don't need to change anything about what I'm doing. It's all fine. I just can let myself feel what I'm feeling, recognize it, and understand that emotions can be very powerful, but you can also kind of let them wash over you and then go by sometimes. So that's kind of where I was at yesterday. I think that, oddly enough, in hindsight, that strange feeling of anxiety that I was having before seeing Captain Marvel was probably not even really about that movie. It was probably the early, you know how when people talk about with migraines, there's like this pre-migraine period with like auras and stuff like that. Probably that feeling was, leading up to like, oh no, something's going on. But yeah, so fortunately for me, it turned out I really liked the movie. That's good. And also that I don't actually think that any of my major life decisions need to be changed at this time. And so it was mostly just a matter of recognizing sometimes these feelings come on, but you don't have to be washed away or pulled under by them. It's like, standing in the surf at the ocean, you can kind of just hold your feet still and let the water kind of go over you, and then it goes by. And there might be another one soon, but you can be prepared for that one too. And, at some point you can start, make sure you keep your feet on the ground so that you could say, when it starts seeming like I'm not going to be able to keep my feet on the ground, maybe think about going into shore or doing something else to protect yourself. But if all that's happening is that you are feeling a moment of startling, fear because, oh, something unexpected is happening, but then you can say, wait, you know what? Everything's actually fine. It's fine. So yeah, that was kind of where I was at yesterday, and I have to work this weekend for reasons that are complicated, mostly due to stuff that's not very interesting. So I'm going to be busy, but it's fine. And but later this evening, we're going to have the next session of This Space for Rent, which is my the tabletop RPG that I'm running that's set in the Space Casey universe. So excited to get back to that. That'll be on Twitch later this evening. And so in the meantime, I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes. Tomorrow is Sunday, and since I'm at home, I will once again be continuing my rewatch of Gravity Falls. So